Hey, this is the World Advice Channel, where I give advice in order to help solve the world's issues. So, anyway, what I'm going to talk about for this video today is something that, as you can see by the title, that has been coming up a lot recently, which is the fact that the left is losing a lot of power. The left is not as powerful as it was 10 or more so years ago, where historically, actually the majority of Americans were more on the left wing side than now. So this is why I'm talking about it, because the Conservative Party have definitely historically been been a party of racism, and they haven't really stopped. So the left has been there and have had, generally speaking, better policy ideas. So the truth of the matter is, when it comes to dealing with how the left can regain popularity so they can be back to where they once were before, I'm going to give advice on how they can do it. So, anyway, let's get started. So, when it comes to the first of the 3 points, the first of the three ones to simply, when it comes to the question of how the left can regain popularity, is it simply comes down to the fact that the left simply focuses too much on these ideologies that Americans are uncomfortable with. For example, one of the biggest ones who were on the left for the Democratic primary was actually Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, okay? And Bernie Sanders is definitely a socialist. And a lot of the left wing have been exclusively obsessed with socialism and all that way of thinking, for that matter, you know? And the truth of the matter is, even if you personally believe it, the truth of the matter is, Americans will never accept socialism. They've made it clear as day they don't like it. They never will accept it. It doesn't matter if it's if you can reterm it. Americans hate socialism. Okay? And that's one of the ways obviously the left can regain popularity, is by abandoning the socialist way of thinking that has been catching on. And a lot of left wing channels have said that capitalism is evil and so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is, capitalism is not evil. It is not an evil ideology. It just simply comes down to having good quality regulations to prevent corruption and so on and so forth. It has already been proven and disproven numerous times, this whole idea that capitalism is evil and it doesn't work, when literally every nation has embraced full-blown socialism, and communism has completely collapsed and it's fallen apart. So the truth of the matter is that ideology is not only false, Americans will never accept it. Americans hate it, and it can create a lot of issues. So they need to abandon that way of thinking ASAP if they want to become popular again. Now, the second thing to also mention is the wokeness issue. Now, the truth of the matter about the wokeness thing in the media stuff, the truth is, when it comes to the way when it comes to that specific issue, wokeness is simply a false way of thinking and is unnecessary. Because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to this wokeness thing, it's pissing the shit out of a lot of people in America. Okay? It's pissing off a lot of people, and it's completely unnecessary. As even in previous decades before, like, this wokeness stuff caught on, like the 2000s, 1990s, we already were seeing an increase of black celebrities, okay, being black people, for that matter, being in Hollywood and entertainment. You had people like Will Smith, who at the time, not now, but at the time was highly respected in film and industry, and you had Denzel Washington, who was also respected, and so on and so forth. The thing about this wokeness stuff is that they spend a lot of time trying to randomly force things onto people, okay, that don't really freaking matter. Okay, like for example, they might have a popular series and just recast the character, one of the main characters. Like for example, it can literally take place in Europe, like centuries ago. Like for example, Cinderella and they'll have like a black person, become the Cinderella, or try to change historical facts instead of presenting people of color in a more presentable way. For example, like something like maybe creating more movies that actually center in Africa, whether it comes down to African civilizations and stuff, or even, one of the biggest ones obviously they can cover is Kush, the Kushites of Africa and stuff. So like things that actually are based on actually real historical African figures, and they can even, guess what, do it before European colonialization. So yeah, like things like that. So people can actually, well, want to watch the videos, or I should say, watch the movies, whatever. You get the point. Like people can watch the stuff instead of just trying to force things on to people that don't matter. Like saying something like, for example, okay, Alexander the Great was black, or or maybe they might even go as far as to say Julius Caesar was black, and all this stuff that doesn't really matter. And the left wing doesn't seem to understand it. A lot of left wing people don't understand it. It doesn't matter. You don't need all this type of stuff. It doesn't really matter. Like, stop trying to force this stuff onto people. It annoys people, and it gets on people's nerves and stuff. And that's one of the second things that obviously they can do, okay, to regain popularity among people. The third thing that obviously um, liberals can do is, which of course is a huge stereotype, but is actually quite true, is actually start defending themselves. Liberals have a way of not really defending themselves. In life, whenever people are disrespecting you, and are saying stuff about you that's not true, you have to fight back. Okay? You can't just sit there on your ass and just take it. It will only get worse. That's the truth about humans, and there have been studies that have proven this. Um, Human beings are predatory in nature. That's why we have two eyes in front of our faces. Animals that don't are not predators have eyes on the sides of their heads. We have it in the front of our eyes. Human beings are predatory animals by nature. That's how we evolved when we first evolved in Africa tens of thousands of years ago, okay? So our psychology works like this, okay? If we start seeing you like in a way where, you are not doing anything and you are just taking it, it creates this way of thinking where people start seeing you like prey. It's like they don't even see you as a human being anymore, okay? That's how human psychology works. And history has shown this many times, okay? So if you don't fight back, it's just going to get worse, okay? If you don't fight back, you will continue to experience this type of stuff. And liberals, the way you can fight back is not simply saying, "Oh, I'm going to kill a conservative or something." The way you can fight back is going on there, is putting out your comments, making your voices heard in public discussions to make it clear this is not true. What these people are saying here is not true at all. Things like that to start making it more likely people will actually start listening to you again. Don't just take crap from people. When people put out things out there that are not true, you have the right to confront their videos and say, this is not true, this is a lie. A lot of them don't do that. And as a result, liberals tend to get picked on. Do not hide your opinions or keep it to yourself. Go on the offense, okay? Just like those conservatives can go around YouTube spamming people's videos, saying this and that, you can go on their comments if for their videos and do the same thing. You have the right to defend yourself. Don't just take shit from people, okay? And that's what a lot of them have historically done, and they take it, and that's why things continue to get worse, and a lot of things that are not true get put out there. As the truth of the matter is, this is why the left loses so much. You need to defend yourself, okay? And that's a third and last reason why left can become popular again. And they don't do it. They've had a history of not doing it, and they have a history of infighting. And that's simply the truth of the matter. of what my opinion is, and not even my opinion, a fact on how the left can start becoming more popular again, and we can deal with the obviously the conservatives who are a party of racism. Anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is all I have to say. Remember, if you like videos like this, thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And that is all. Simply put it, later.